Hello, everyone. Immigration attorney Jim Hacking here with an update as to the 2024 election, what Donald Trump and the Heritage Foundation and the Republican Party are promising to do immigration-wise if Trump is reelected, if we see another Trump administration. What are they going to do with immigration? They have over 170 proposals of things that they want to change about the immigration process, and we wanted to walk you through those proposed changes in today's video. This is going to be a longer video than you're used to. It's also going to have slides, so follow along and try to educate yourself about what a Trump administration would look like from an immigration perspective. So in order to understand the Trump team and where they're coming from when it comes to immigration, you have to know and learn about the Heritage Foundation. This is a right-wing think tank that purports to want to return the United States to a Christian nation. And the president of the Heritage Foundation is a guy named Kevin Roberts. And back in July, right around the 4th of July, he said, "We are in the middle of the second American Revolution. It will be bloodless if the left allows it to be." So this is the guy that is the head of the Heritage Foundation. And like I said, it's a conservative think tank that's tightly aligned with the Republican Party, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance. In April of 2022, the Trump and president of the Heritage Foundation met. Trump gave a keynote speech after flying on their plane together. And here's what Trump said. They're talking about the Heritage Foundation. They're going to lay the groundwork and detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do. Now, as you'll see in later slides, the Trump team and Trump himself says that they don't know anything about Project 2025. They're saying that it has nothing to do with them. But don't listen to their lies now. Listen to what he said in the past. They're going to lay the groundwork and detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do. J.D. Vance, who is Donald Trump's vice presidential nominee, even wrote the foreword to Kevin Roberts' book. They were going to call it Burn Down Washington to Save America, and it was supposed to come out during the election. But because Project 2025 has gotten such negative coverage in the press, because it's such an extreme document, they've pushed back the publication of the book, and they have tried to distance themselves from Kevin Roberts and the Heritage Foundation, and most importantly, Project 2025. But what did J.D. Vance say in his foreword to Roberts' book? He had a call for his followers to circle the wagons and load the muskets, and describes Roberts' ideas as an essential weapon in the fight that lays ahead. So again, there's that revolution language, the kind of shit we saw on January 6th, where Trump incited his followers to invade the Capitol and try to stop the certification of the 2020 election results. You need to understand that there's over 130 former Trump cabinet members and administration officials working for the Heritage Foundation and who helped with drafting Project 2025. 130 former cabinet members and administration officials. So they can try to run from this as much as they can now that the public is coming to understand what they're up to. And that you need to know about this guy, Russell Thurlow Vogt. He was a former Trump cabinet member. He was Trump's director of Office of Management and Budget, and he's a co-author of Project 2025. And so after Donald Trump and J.D. Vance tried to distance themselves from Project 2025, some journalists posing as wealthy Republican donors had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Vogt and to find out if Donald Trump's claims that he has nothing to do and the Republican Party has no connection to Project 2025 is in fact the truth. Russell Vogt, like I said, he got caught on this video I'm about to show you, admitting that Project 2025 is working with Trump's full approval. Let's take a look. So, they're just flat out lying to you. So you don't need to listen to me for this. You need to do your own investigation, and it'll become crystal clear to you, I think, after just a little bit of scrutiny, that Project 2025 and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are completely aligned. And we're going to get to the immigration pieces, but I just want to highlight some of the big topics in Project 2025. It's a comprehensive guide for governance. It's a Republican dream of policies and procedures that they would put into place shortly after Donald Trump takes office in January if he were to win the election. And the Heritage Foundation prepares this every election. So they have every 4 years created a document like this. This is the first one that's gotten this much attention, but it's definitely something that documents what their plans and their dreams are. It's the policy playbook for the next Trump administration, and it addresses a lot of issues that conservatives care a lot about. They want to dismantle the federal bureaucracy and replace civil servants with political appointees. Now, I never really understood how all these lifelong Republicans and sort of general politicians who cared about the country could work for Trump in the first administration. But he's not bringing any of the regular Republicans back. He's bringing back loyalists, people who, like Stephen Miller, who will do exactly what Trump says. Trump wants to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. These are the kinds of people that he wants to bring back. He's got political appointees ready, standing by. Project 2025 has training videos on how politicians can get into the Trump administration and then not follow federal law. And so that's really, really scary. And they want, when we talk about some of the topics, they want the government to explicitly reject abortion as healthcare. They want to dismantle affirmative action, end diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they want to end coverage of emergency contraception and prosecute those who send and receive contraception pills. And, forever, people were saying, well, the Republicans are never really going to do away with Roe v. Wade. They're never really going to outlaw abortion. Well, that's what they're going to do. They're going to pass a national abortion ban, and they want people to have to carry babies to term, even if they've been raped. Women have been raped or subject to incest. This is the extreme part of the Republican Party. They want to ban pornography in the United States. They want to end protection for discrimination based on someone's sexual orientation or their gender identity. Now, let's talk about what Project 2025 says about immigration. Like I said, they have over 175 new proposals for reinterpreting and applying federal immigration law. Remember, if Trump gets elected, the laws haven't changed. They're just going to choose to select how to apply the law and how they want to interpret the law to really slow down legal immigration and quote unquote illegal immigration to the United States. So the first thing that you have to understand, if you watched the Republican convention, there were tons of delegates holding up flags or signs like these: mass deportation now. Trump, Vance, and the Republican Party want to deport up to 13 to 15 million people in the United States that are undocumented. If they are here and they're out of status, Trump wants them out. And they want to use the U.S. military and the National Guard to effectuate this. They want to build a lot more prisons, for-profit prisons for all of his donor class friends. And they want to deport anybody who's in the United States without status. So these are people who work here, live here, have been here for years. They want to deport all of them. That's a main plank of Trump's campaign, of the Republican platform, and certainly of Project 2025, to deport everyone who is out of status. So if that's something that you find attractive, maybe you might want to vote for Trump. But if not, you need to really pay attention to the election and vote against Donald Trump when it comes to the presidency. On page 146 of Project 2025, the authors call for the president to have the ability to stop accepting new filings for any case log that's deemed excessively backlogged. Well, anybody who spends any time with immigration knows that there's always a backlog, that things take years and years at USCIS, and they want to have the ability to stop handling any case type that's excessively backlogged. So in effect, they want to give the president and the Department of Homeland Security the ability to stop taking any new cases. And in effect, what that is, to me, that's stopping legal immigration. They can say, oh, H-1Bs are full, citizenship's full, we're backlogged on green cards, we're not going to take any more of those cases. The law doesn't allow for that. Congress never signed a law that says that. This is just something that Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon and Donald Trump want to do in order to stop legal immigration to the United States. So when I post about Trump wanting to stop legal immigration, this is what I'm talking about, that he can unilaterally decide this case is of a type that we have too many of these applications, so we're not going to let any more of these be filed. And they want to create, they want to take steps to create more backlog. They want to stop letting people reuse their biometrics. So when you apply for an immigration benefit, you have to get fingerprinted and photographed. We now have the technology with computers to store all that data. Well, they don't want that. They want people to have to get fingerprinted every single time. It's all designed to slow down the legal immigration to the United States. They want to have the fraud unit sign off on every case. In other words, in order for any case to be approved, they're going to have to be reviewed by the fraud unit, every single case. That's strictly just to create more backlogs. And then if they create more backlogs, then they can stop taking cases, remember? And they want to require interviews on all kinds of cases that generally required interviews. In order to try to speed things up in immigration, one of the few things the Biden team did immigration-wise was to try to waive interviews on a lot of cases. Trump, Miller say no more of that. They also want to designate USCIS as a national security agency. They want to require higher security clearance for all employees. So they want to make sure that everybody that works at USCIS has a higher security clearance than they do now. That's just to slow things down. It takes 2 years to do a background check. I once did an internship at the U.S. Attorney's Office. I was done with the internship before they finished my background check. So they want to require every single person that works at USCIS to have a higher security clearance, again, to bake in more delay. All right. In order for the H-2A and H-2B program, which are for agricultural workers, hotel workers, to work, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service has to designate the countries and the number of visas available for those countries every year. Trump team says, Project 2025 says, well, we just won't designate any countries, and then these workers can't come to the United States. So again, the law provides for H-2As and H-2Bs. The law provides for legal immigration through this path, and they want to just stop it. And that's legal immigration that they want to stop without an act of Congress. T visas are for victims of human trafficking. U visas are for victims of crime. They want to make it almost impossible for those visa applicants to get their cases approved. And the way that they'll do it, these cases take years and years, and you have to have certification from local law enforcement or whatever law enforcement agency is working with these victims of crime. And they have to certify at the beginning and at the end of the process that the person is actively involved in stopping or prosecuting a crime. In other words, helping the prosecutors convict someone of a crime. And they want to make it impossible by saying you're going to have to get certification at the beginning and at the end, because you're not actively involved in the prosecution throughout the time that USCIS takes to adjudicate the case. So again, legal means of immigration that Project 2025 and Donald Trump want to stop. All right, when it comes to H-1Bs, under current system, there's 4 wage levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They want to basically take the position that for wage levels 1 and 2, which are sort of entry-level positions for software developers, for all kinds of specialty occupations, that they don't want to be able to have employers use wage level 1 or 2. And that's just going to make it much, much harder, again, for legal immigration, for H-1B visa lottery winners to get their visas. They want to stop that by making it almost impossible and inflating the wages of international workers, therefore discouraging employers from even sponsoring H-1B workers. If a country won't accept deportees from that country, so if we have people here in the United States that we want to deport back to, say, China, and China won't accept those deportees, then the Trump team and Project 2025 calls for the denial of any visa for any national from that country. So they could say, well, China's not doing a good job of accepting the people that we want to deport, so therefore we're not going to let any Chinese nationals into the United States. Again, a punishment by association. The people who are applying for the visas have done nothing wrong, and the law provides for people from China or whatever other country to be able to come to the United States. But the Trump team wants to use leverage of forcing these countries to accept deportees in a way that's not legal. They want to jack up the filing fees, and they want to cut down on fee waivers. So in almost every kind of immigration case, you can get a waiver of the fees, and they want to cut down and eliminate that. They also want to jack up the fees, which of course is just going to deter legal immigration. They just had a huge fee increase on April 1st of 2024, but that's nothing compared to what they want to increase the fees to. In the United States, there are approximately 700,000 people who are under TPS, temporary protected status, countries where there's war or famine or whatever, like Syria, Haiti, these kinds of countries. They just want to unilaterally cancel that. They want to end TPS and force all these people to either leave the United States or get deported. They want to stop the staff, USCIS staff, from renewing DACA and renewing Ukrainian parole. Again, these are legal means of immigration, and they just want to unilaterally tell staff, you can't work on these cases anymore. It's completely illegal what they're proposing. They want to cut down on who can get work authorization. Specifically, they're really mad that the spouses of H-1B visa holders can get work authorization. They want to limit who can get work authorization. And one other interesting provision in the 175 provisions that are in Project 2025, they say if your case is denied, you have to leave until the backlog in your case type is cleared. So if USCIS makes a mistake and denies your green card case, they want you to leave right away, even if you're in some other valid form of status. It makes no sense and it's not legal. Here's another interesting tidbit. This is, again, where they're trying to pit immigrants against native-born people. There are over 10 million, almost 11 million people in the United States who are from states that offer in-state tuition to undocumented students. So states like California, Illinois, they offer in-state tuition to undocumented students. The Project 2025 authors want to prohibit the issuance of federal student loans to any student in those states that allow for undocumented students to get in-state tuition. Now, this is outrageous. This is, again, trying to punish students from states that are progressive and allow for in-state tuition for undocumented students. This is anti-federalist. You know, the Republicans love to say, oh, the states should get to decide what they want. Well, here we have the states deciding that they want to give in-state tuition to undocumented students. And they say, well, we don't like that, so we're going to punish every college kid from that state, again, in order to drive a wedge between the native-born and immigrants. They just want to make you mad. This whole thing is about making people mad because that's what they do. They walk through the world mad. We've seen in the Harris-Walz Convention that people are really hungering for joy. The Republicans are mad about everything, and they want to blame brown people. They want to blame immigrants for all of the world's problems. They even want to violate the Immigration Nationality Act. Like I said, they want to shut down visa types if they're oversubscribed, but they also just want to eliminate the processing of diversity visas and cut down on student visas. Even though Congress has signed a law and Congress has passed a law and the president has signed it, federal law says that these visas exist. And they say, well, we're just not going to process them anymore. So it's really a lawless kind of a situation where USCIS is going to be completely hamstrung. Legal immigration is going to be hamstrung. So you really need to educate yourself. These are the main provisions that I noticed. There are another 130 in there. These are the most outrageous, the most egregious. If you're not paying attention to the election, you need to pay attention. You need to understand what your vote could bring forth. Another Trump administration would be disaster for immigrants and those who care about immigrants. So I encourage you to get involved in the campaign, to work for Kamala Harris, work for Tim Walz, try to get them elected, and most importantly, stop Project 2025 and all the evil things they want to do on abortion, on women's rights, on immigration, and get involved like you never have before. That's what I'm going to do, and I encourage you to do the same. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, give us a call, 314-961-8200, or email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.